I do have skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
Hey guys, now in this call is basically to find out and to inform Auckland Transport that I'm going to be seeking a meeting with either the operations manager John Strawbridge, the ex-cop, or Rick Bidgood, or some other head honcho to discuss them breaching my daughter's privacy by supplying me her details on an Official Information Act request. They took the time to actually blank out their own staff's names, but they had no issue supplying me the customer's name, which wasn't mine. And that customer's name could have been anyone. The fact that they've used my daughter's name is a veiled threat against my children, even though they want to turn around and say that I've made veiled threats about Steve's children, which I have never done. They've gone and put Isabel's name, accessing it from the AT hop card, and this is only speculation. They've accessed her details, put them on this customer reference and this job number that mentions threats against wardens, that mentions incident reports being lodged with the police, and they've put her name on top. Now, if that isn't a backhanded way of trying to threaten my daughter, who has absolutely nothing to do with this, and who isn't a grown adult like Steve's children, that's really underhanded. That won't be gone if AT refuse, and I'm going to court on the 1st of April, where I expect the matter to be dismissed without prejudice. Once I have that under my belt, I will be going to AT to demand a meeting. If they choose not to, me and my little friend, the megaphone, are quite happy to stand outside there and doth protest until something happens. I want some answers. I want to know what the fuck they think they're doing, why they never ever wiped and avoided this ticket, given the ample evidence I've supplied to show them time and time again, and photos and written formal note letters, that there were misleading markings, is all just blown over their head. All they're focusing on the fact is that there were broken yellow lines, and they seem to be completely colourblind about the white hockey sticks that were leading everybody to park there. When you're driving along the road, the first thing you see is that little L-shaped white hockey stick, which indicates to most people, most trusting road users, that there is a car park. So people park there. Now, AT, out of the 12 tickets they allegedly have issued, and I'm questionable about that to begin with, have turned around and said that 2 people of those 12 have paid. Mine's going to court, and the other 9 have been forwarded to Bay Corp. The lady said on the phone that it doesn't affect their credit rating. Well, I don't know about you, but if your name's been lodged with Bay Corp, irrespective of the details behind it, if someone else does a credit check, they're going to see that there's been an entry made in regards to whatever on that date. So any entries on Bay Corp is considered defaults. Okay? So whether you like it or not, having your name put on Bay Corp, even though it may be nothing upheld, you're still affecting someone's credit rating. So the fact that they're choosing to go ahead and do that, instead of like if it was a speeding ticket, you get your notice, you get your reminder notice, and then you get your notice of proceedings where you go to court. AT, because it's a stationary vehicle offence and not a moving vehicle offence, give you the notice, give you the reminder, and then they send you to a private Bay Corp to try and squeeze money out of you that way. And only if you challenge Bay Corp like Paul Martin did and set them straight, then you get your day in court. However, John Strawbridge re-reviewed Paul Martin's matter and voided the ticket because clearly they're believing his story. Now, I'm not just telling a story. I've supplied ample video, ample photographs, and ample formal letters explaining that there was misleading markings. They have put on the blinders and shown their ignorance. I will be having the parking warden on the stand, and God help him if he doesn't answer honestly to my questions, because I've had many months now to think about exactly what to ask once that court matter's sorted, provided he acts in honour, and provided he acts impartial and independent and doesn't collude with any of the lawyers that all have a duty to him first over their own clients, provided he actually stays in honour, it's a no-brainer. It'll be white, dismissed, end of. Why are you wasting the court's time, Auckland Transport? Why are you wasting taxpayers' money? Is it okay just to frivolously take people to court when your own adjudication team fails, your own prosecutor fails, your own parking warden can't even do his job properly? And I might point out that there's 4 parking wardens that have issued those tickets, so there's 4 wardens that clearly need to be retrained. So we'll see how we go. You have a listen to this clip, and this shows me ringing up AT and in no uncertain terms letting them know how unhappy I am about what they have done. And do not threaten my children. End of. See ya.
Please note, your call may be recorded for verification and training purposes.
I do it too.
Council, you're speaking with J-Ran.
Hi, J-Ran, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh, box of fluffies.
That's good.
I'll give you a reference number here if you like. It's
Okay.
CAS-940216-C5D8J4.
I'm searching this. It's waiting to come up. I do see I've got this at 9 Raffinery Street in Henderson.
Yep, closed on the 17th of January.
Okay. So I do see it was originally created back in December.
Yep. On the 17th or 20th?
Well, it does say it's the 20th. So I see...
Do you see the name at the top there, the customer information?
At the top, okay. So can I get your name?
My name is Mark.
Okay. So I've got a name Isabel coming up on this.
Yeah, that's partly the reason I'm calling. I did an Official Information Act request in with John Strawbridge asking for a copy of this report details. Now, I am the only person that's related to this case and to the complaint that's been filed and having the road markings fixed and everything else. So I'm curious as to how a name Isabel ended up there.
I don't know.
Because all correspondence, all letters have all been addressed with my name on it.
Okay.
Do you know who Isabel is?
No, I'm not familiar with this.
Okay, Isabel is my 16-year-old daughter's name.
Okay.
So not only has Auckland Transport breached the Privacy Commission by supplying me her details, they've also blacked out your workers' names down on the 17th of the 1st. So I had that name redacted, but managed it over the holiday period, it says there in the comments. But also, it says there that police have been contacted regarding customers' commentary on videos. And on page 2, it says this letter appears to have veiled threats regarding parking warden in question and his children.
Okay.
So what I did is I went into the New Zealand Police 2 days ago, and I asked if there was anything open on either myself or my daughter, because right now this report is saying that my daughter has made veiled threats because my name's not there as the customer name. So they're making false allegations. And I'm guessing because they're saying, and I'll just point out that the so-called veiled threat they're talking about was myself asking whether or not the warden's children would appreciate him issuing unlawful tickets. That is not a veiled threat. It is a simple question, and yet it has been interpreted as a threat. Now, the police have no record of Auckland Transport filing any incident report on either myself or my daughter. What I would like from you today is to get my 16-year-old minor daughter's name off of that report straight away, because the only way Auckland Transport has my daughter's details is through the AT HOP system. So I'm suspecting that someone at AT has accessed my daughter's name through the AT HOP system and put her name at the top of that, because you might notice the email address is all CKA Mark. That's me.
Okay.
So this is AT's response to so-called veiled threats, is to put my 16-year-old daughter's name at the top of a form where they're mentioning threats. That is extremely disgusting. Now, straight after seeing the police 2 days ago, and I'm well aware John Strawbridge is an ex-police officer, I went into AT Metro in Viaduct Harbour, signed in at your kiosk there so I could have a word with him. I would like a meeting established between myself and either Rick Bidgood or John Strawbridge to discuss this matter further. How do I go about setting a meeting up for that to happen?
I will need to see what options I've got. So
They really have gone over and above. You can understand where I'm coming from when I find my daughter's name, who's had absolutely nothing to do with this, and I have every call I've made to AT recorded.
So the original issue was a P107 infringement.
Correct. It was given in 9 Ratanui Street because there were white hockey stick marks outlining a car park in the same spot as the broken yellows. So therefore there was misleading road markings that the warden did not report. And it turns out you guys have issued 12 other tickets, and now you're affecting 9 people's credit rating because you have put them onto Bay Court for not paying in the same spot. No infringement can be issued if there is conflicting or misleading road markings. That's in your own manual.
Okay.
And I'm going to court on the 1st of April for a defended hearing in regards to my P107 alleged infringement.
The original issue was an infringement for parking on yellow lines.
Yep. Right.
So the car. Okay. So, and the car was registered under your name?
It was registered under myself and my wife's name. There are 2 registered owners.
Okay.
So that kind of kills the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt for Auckland Transport to establish one of us was driving, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I did is I went there and I took photos of the lines. I sent those photos into Auckland Transport to show the misleading markings. AT has blatantly ignored the fact that there are white lines there. Then they went and repaired them. Between the 11th and 16th of January, Auckland Transport contractor went out and repaired them. You'll notice at the bottom there it says case closed on the 17th of January. And yet I have a letter from John Strawbridge saying that you weren't notified by the contractor until the 5th of February that the job had been completed. So how did they close it 3 weeks before being notified by the contractor?
I really don't know, because it's really not going to give me a huge amount of detail
It doesn't, and I sympathise with you. I really do. This is nothing personal against you. I know you're just the lady at the end of the phone trying to deal with the situation. But I'm somewhat disturbed by the fact that, one, AT have breached my daughter's privacy by supplying someone else her details, me, considering she's never been involved in this whatsoever. 2,
I don't know how that happened.
Neither do I. And I don't know how AT got my daughter's information short of accessing AT Hopcard system to get it, because I am the parent that had to sign up because of her age for the Hopcard because she's not 18. I think at that stage she was only 14 when we got the Hopcard.
So yeah, I'm just looking at my information. So the original issue was that you got this parking infringement.
And there were misleading road markings because it was marked with both yellow.
Okay. So when you got the infringement, did you send in a dispute through our website?
What I did when I got the infringement is I sent a letter the next day into the adjudication team asking for a court hearing, which was ignored. I got a letter back on the 3rd of November from the adjudication team saying that my excuses or reasons weren't accepted, and yet I gave none. All I simply did was accept your claim for value, provided AT could establish the evidence.
Because what usually happens
I don't deal with things usually. I've studied law for 6 years. I don't deal with things in a usual manner. I didn't fill out one of your little requests for a hearing form. I, in writing, requested a court hearing, which is in accordance with Section 21(6) of the Summary Proceedings Act 1957.
But basically, the usual way that it works is that So you get the infringement, then you have the option of disputing it on our website. There is no cost for that. You just log in with your registration number and the.
I did that, and I had a look at the photographs.
Okay, so you're now saying that you did fill in a dispute?
No, I'm saying I went onto the website to have a look at the photographs.
Okay, but you did not fill in a dispute?
I didn't do it online, and I didn't do it through one of the little forms that was sent out to me. I did it in my own, authored it by my own hand, signed, which is all the requirement is needed under the Summary Proceedings Act. Is for me.
It's going to make it less clear because in that case, so
it's clear. It's clear as crystal to me.
Okay, so you what I'm trying to get at is when you got this infringement, did you go straight to the court option, or did you first try to dispute it with Auckland Transport?
What I did is I wrote a letter in accepting your claim, provided evidence could be established, and if not, I requested a court hearing.
Okay.
That was ignored. I got an adjudication letter saying that they had reviewed it and are still wanting the money, threatening Bay Corp action. At that time, I sent another letter in on the 13th of November asking for the second time for a court hearing. I then ended up speaking to the parking prosecutor, Vanessa Oliver, who ended up hanging up on me after telling me that I would get a court date. I then went to court on the 21st of January to the first call hearing and entered a not guilty plea.
Okay.
And I have the defended hearing on the 1st of April in just over a week's time, where the case will be dismissed because I have all of the evidence showing misleading road markings.
Okay. But see, when you initially sent in the first letter after receiving this infringement...
Yep, on the 25th.
Did that make any mention at all of the misleading road markings?
Yes, it does. It says there were white hockey sticks marked with little white X's along with broken yellow lines.
Okay.
So the adjudication team failed because they clearly didn't even read the letter.
Okay. Did you get an infringement number?
Yep. Would you like it?
Yes.
Sure. I've got 4 20-page files on this one parking ticket. So, infringement number 3066243-825.
Okay.
That's the notice number.
Hold on a moment. I'm seeing what I can get on this.
Notice Isabel's name is not in relation to that at all. The last thing she needs is police showing up on her doorstep in relation to veiled threats. So naturally, that's why I marched on down to the cop shop to make sure she wasn't going to have that happen. And the cops tell me there's absolutely nothing on file in regards to this. So why are there comments on your report details saying that that has happened? Ironically, that happened on the 11th of January when I was protesting outside the faulty markings.
Okay. The infringement notice was posted the 16th of October.
Yep, and I received it on the 24th of October, the same night I went down and took photos of the car park.
The 9th. Okay.
These photos were all sent in, so it seems that you... Sorry, carry on.
Because I'm just looking at what I've got. I see...
There was a letter received by Auckland Transport on the 29th of October, which was the letter...
what I'm seeing is they did decide to proceed with enforcing the fee, but looking at because it's not going to let me see your letter that you sent. All it's saying is... It's
on YouTube. You're welcome to go up and look at it. You can see the YouTube links I've supplied on your details form there.
Okay, well, right now I'm just looking at what I've got available.
Sure. You can't see that letter, and I'm just saying where it is.
Well, okay, so I've got letter request, 3rd of November.
I also sent in a copy of the letter that I supplied the parking prosecutor dated on the 10th of December.
And you made sure to clearly state that you were confused by the ambiguous road markings.
I think if you read your own report, you read the details here on the letter that says here, under the description of your job report there, on the 12th of October, Warden 1126, they issued P107 infringement against our person, allegedly for barking on broken yellow lines. And if you read down there a bit further, it says that there is little white X's and on white hockey sticks in the same location. And I was asking which lines I'm supposed to follow. If that isn't seeking clarification, because you've got two different types of, and I understand one is just advisory and the yellow is safety based.
Okay.
I'm learning a lot doing this. But my point being is because there's white hockeys, that's why everybody was parking there. Now you guys have black tarred over it in January, which is good. No one else is going to be misled and park there. But because of, since I actually have footage of that spot from back in September, so I asked for 4 months records of how many P107s have been issued. Turns out 12 people have been issued tickets for that same spot. 4 wardens all believed that there's nothing wrong with the road markings and issued them. And John Strawbridge seems to be colourblind because he's not acknowledging the fact that there are white hockey sticks even in the prosecutor's own photographs. So, I mean, this is wasting so much taxpayers' money trying to take me. I don't mind going to court. I'm going to have a whole lot of fun with that parking warden on the stand. And I hope he's aware of the perjury penalties.
The issue here is that this job I've got in front of me, it says it's resolved and closed. So it's not something that I can make any movement. You notice right at the bottom of that first page there on the 28th of December, it says customer already has an open case removing old markings and remarking the correct ones. Yeah.
And there's a case number there. I've never been given that case number, ever. But I will be putting an Official Information Act request in for those details.
Okay. So
my whole point is, the reason I'm calling is my daughter's name should not be involved in this whatsoever. AT has breached the Privacy Act because they are not, even if she is my daughter, her name shouldn't be on that. It should be redacted if it's not my details.
I don't know how this has happened.
I do.
Okay, well, I've got the number here, 027.
Why on earth do you have my daughter's cell phone number in relation to that?
I really don't know.
Well, it shouldn't be. My cell number has been provided numerous times.
Yeah, okay. So this is just what I'm getting.
So
thinking in terms of what I can. I'm not really getting.
Well, I can tell you basically what's happened is AT has gone to put my daughter's details on there in retaliation for me mentioning the warden's children's names in the middle of a question. This is a backhanded way of trying to stir me up, and it did cause me distress and alarm to think that my daughter is going to have police call on her over threats that are non-existent. If AT are going to say that I have made veiled threats, I would like to see some evidence of that, because I have every single document, every single phone call, every time I have contacted AT, it is recorded, including this call.
Yeah.
So
I'm just looking at my information. I've got.
I mean, would you be concerned if you had somebody tell you that you'd made threats and then they go and put your child's name on that form?
I don't understand why this has happened.
Yeah.
I've got the parking compliance area manager. I may need to contact him, but then I don't know how far I'd be able to get that way because I wouldn't be available on Saturday, and then I
won't
need
be.
to.
I mean, I like I say, after the 1st of April, once I have the court case and the decision made from the judge that those misleading road site markings should never have been there and that it's going to be quashed because there is no offence because of misleading road markings. It says it on page 131 of your own training manual. If there is conflicting road markings, there can be no offence. And I've pointed all of this out to your parking compliance manager. and he is being steadfast and just, I don't get why AT can't put their hands up and say, our bad, we shouldn't have done it, end of story. But instead you're doubling down and you really are doing it to the wrong person. I took on New Zealand Police last year and bet them after 10 months in court over a speeding ticket. The fact that I have documented every single piece of information that is going to be going before the judge, and this underhanded thing of putting my daughter's details on this form, I have every call recorded, so you can't say I gave it to you. The only AT has accessed my daughter's details and incorporated it onto this.
Just thinking in terms of what I can do from here.
I just want her name taken off, her details taken off of that form. I mean, I have a hard copy anyway, so it's just for your records. I do not want her name being associated with this matter at all.
My best option is going to be sending an email to Jason Slay, who is the area manager for parking compliance.
He would have been the gentleman that reviewed it with Rick Bidgood.
Okay, well, I'm going to need to let him know that that this should not be under your daughter's name, and that it should be under your name. And we've got the number 027. So that's your number, and that is the number that should be used for all communications about this. Okay. So right now I'm sending this on to the compliance area manager to make this clear. Is there anything else I can help with today?
I just want to know how to make an appointment to speak to somebody there, because again, I have asked in writing to Rick Bidgood for a time to speak to him in regards to this, and he's flat out refused.
So who was the person you were wanting to speak with?
Either Rick Bidgood or John Strawbridge. They are the two gentlemen that have answered my Official Information Act requests, and I've made about 4 or 5 of them.
I do see that I've got Rick's details. I can send him your I can send him an email just saying that you are wanting to speak with him in person to discuss this. Is it just this one infringement?
Well, my infringement is before the court, but it's not just. And I get that you guys will only talk with the registered owner in regards to an infringement, which I am. But that was the reason I was told why you wouldn't discuss it, because I'm also asking about the 11 other infringements that AT has unlawfully issued when there were misleading road markings. Because now AT have taken 9 of those people, according to an Official Information Act request that you guys responded to. AT is now taking 9 of those 11 people to Bay Corp, so they're also affecting 9 other people's credit rating now.
Well, when the infringement goes on to Bay Corp, it does not affect the credit rating, and it doesn't increase the fee at all. So
I understand that, but usually it should go to reminder, and then if not, over to a court case. But you guys skip that, and then it goes back to going to the Ministry of Justice after it gets thrown back from Bay Corp.
Well, basically, it would.
Nobody's liable for a parking infringement unless they are convicted of it.
Because it's there's 8 weeks from the infringement being issued to it then moving on to Bay Corp. So it's not like it's
Oh, sure, they can respond or they can ignore it. I get that, but if that was a speeding ticket, it wouldn't go to Bay Corp. It would go to a notice of infringement in respect of a court hearing.
But see, the issue here, with it being someone else's infringement, there's a limit to what we can what we can legally let you know. Well,
that's all right, and I don't mind that. But if they want to talk to me about my own case, they just simply turn around and say, well, it's a matter before the courts, so they don't want to discuss it.
This is what makes it difficult. Because
which is why I'm saying after the 1st of April, once the matter is then concluded in court, unless it gets adjourned again, I would like to have a meeting with them, because then I will have a court case decision saying that they should never have issued those tickets, because that's what will happen.
So you are wanting to ask if Rick Bidgood can meet you in person after the 1st of April?
Yep, or John Strawbridge.
John.
I can put something together in writing as well, but I'm also going to be making a complaint to the Privacy Commissioner over this.
Okay.
Auckland Transport should not be putting someone else's details on a form and sending it to me, even if I am related or not.
Okay. So I am organising this right now. Is there anything else I can help with today?
No, that's great. And thank you so much for listening to me babble on a bit.
Yep, that's all right. All right. Thanks for calling today.
All right. Have a good day.
Okay. You too. Bye.
G'day, is that Mark?
Speaking.
G'day, Mark. John Strawbridge here, Group Manager of Transport. How are you?
John? Yeah, good. And you?
Look, I'm sorry I came down the other day to see you as last week, and you'd left about 5 minutes before I got down there.
That's
I was trying to get to the bottom of this email issue and Isabel's name, and I have got that information, and I wanted to just talk you through it, but also give you some assurance that it's been fixed now.
Cool.
So the issue is actually quite a simple one in terms of how it's happened. The thing that's not simple is that it's a mistake and it needed to be rectified. Fortunately, your concerns have enabled us to sort of solve a problem that's probably actually been something that's impacted other people as well.
Right.
So what's happened is your the email, which is forgive me if I get this not completely right, but I think CKA.
Yep.
That was the primary email that was associated with the hop card that Isabel has. So what the system does by default when it goes through our customer service system is that it'll search that email, it'll look for the associated name with that email, and then the correspondence will go to that person's name. So although all of the answers that we prepared for you in terms of your parking inquiries, we left our desks, if you like, addressed to yourself. They've gone through the computer system, and associated with that Gmail account, Isabel's name's come up. So that's what's happened.
Okay.
But thankfully, because of your intervention, we've been able to go in there. Firstly, we fixed that in terms of yourself and associating your inquiries.
Because I couldn't quite figure out how on earth, when I was the only one that's dealt with the parking infringement and all the other little issues surrounding it, that her name came into it. So yeah, I mean that explains it. And as I said,
yeah, and neither could I, and that's why I thought, right, I'm going to get to the bottom of this before I come down and see you, because there's no point in me coming down and see you going, I don't know. And that's why I thought, right, I'm going to get to the bottom of this before I come down and see you, because there's no point in me coming down and see you going, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that's no help at all. So, look, I'm very, very grateful for you to bring it to our attention. What we've done is we've changed it. It's changed in your account for sure, but also we've put a software fix in with our systems now that it has a validation check before correspondence goes out.
Yeah, because I've called several times in regards to that case number, and
yes,
no one's ever mentioned that I'm not Isabel. You know, and they seem to I don't know, verify that it's the right person talking about the right place by specifying the address it's related to, not who the customer's name is.
Yeah, look, I'm with you 100%. So I actually have a similar thing. My son has my home email address associated with his hop card. Not that I've had the correspondence come through, but it's exactly what would happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so Two things. One is we fixed yours personally, but also it's enabled us to put a fix in basically for everybody.
Cool. And what can you tell me about the allegations that were on the comments about threatening the warden and commentary on video and incident files being filed with the police? Because none of that's existent. I checked with the police.
Yeah, look, I can't really help you with any of that, mate. I was more, I mean, that's something that, I'm not privy to. Yeah, look, I can't really help you with any of that, mate. I was more, I mean, that's something that, I'm not privy to. What I've done is probably gone through the higher level stuff and to make sure that this was fixed. To me, that was far more important. The breach of privacy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, getting it to the right person is far more important to me at my lofty heights, whatever they may be.
Yep. Good as gold, John.
Good on you. All right. Thank you very much for your time, and hopefully that's clarified it. And again, I appreciate, on this occasion, you've done a bloody good thing for us. Thank you.
Yeah, I tend to find little flaws and try and get them fixed.
Oh well, it's happened, which is a good thing.
Good man. Okay.
Good on you. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, John.
Load it, cock it, let it go.